Welcome to the Vocal Lab Podcast with your hosts, Shelby Rollins and Jason Catron, bringing you the best from the music industry. Get ready for first-class conversations packed with exclusive techniques and transformative insights, all designed to help you reach your top note. Welcome to today's podcast. Hey, Shelby.
Hey, Jason.
What's up?
You know, it's November at this moment in time, in real time. We are a couple days from Thanksgiving, and my mind is thinking about cooking and all the things that I have got to do still to get ready for Thanksgiving with my family.
Fun times.
What's going on in my brain?
Holidays are upon us.
Yep. Actually, today's my last day of work for the week of Thanksgiving. So,
I love zero work this week. Like I've got all my people are like, no, we're out. I'm like, well,
I had an artist in yesterday. Yeah. I had to shoot a bunch of content yesterday for social media, and then I had a session with an artist, and then today. But I actually love days like this because, you know, I love doing this. The podcast is like, this is easy work to me. Like coaching is harder.
Coaching's so hard because
it's a good day of work. This is fun.
So, I mean, this is just like shooting off the cuff conversation, like you're having coffee in a coffee shop.
Right.
Coaching is literally like intentional thought and back and forth and like creative dialogue and instructive dialogue, and it's exhausting after a day. Yeah. Especially if you have like, you know, if you have a whole session, a day of sessions, how many would you say is your max? Not max. Well, that's a great question. What's your max that you're like, I'm tapped out today? And what do you think the tipping point is where it's like, okay, after this many sessions, I start to feel a little like, fatigued isn't the right word, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, it's a day. The day's
for
long.
me, both of the scenarios is the same number. It's like 4 sessions max. And I used to teach
Mine's like
7.
Half a session. No. I'm probably 4 too.
Yeah, like I'll do 4, and then I'll tell like my assistant, do not let me book any more than 4 sessions. I really don't want to do more than 3 in a day. But because of that, and I don't know if I'm getting elderly, maybe this is why, but like I used to do,
I have to put an elevator
I know what
in my
it is.
house.
I really know what it is. It's having kids. It's truly for me, I think what it is.
That's a different layer.
I used to, before having kids, I could teach like 7-8 hours in a day. I don't know how I did it. And those days wore me the heck out. But
when we first started, we were in the same studio together, you guys, and we were cranking out long days, and they would be exhausting for sure. But I think to this point too, it's like, 4 is a really healthy day. Yeah. It's funny. I think people, by and large, probably think that we have like a normal like 8 to 5, and we're just like coaching all day long. And people are always shocked when I'm like, I honestly probably do like anywhere from 10 to 20 sessions max a week.
Oh gosh, max. Like not even 20. I would do like...
I'm 10 to 15 typically.
No, man, I'm more like 7 in a week. Because I don't want to do any more. And part of it is I have to create a lot of time to do other things like this. Like this is a whole day of my work week.
No, totally.
We're shooting.
I'm a man about the town, so I have like...
You are.
I have like places to be and people to see.
And I have children to Uber drive to activities that take up a lot of my time.
I'm always texting Shelby like, you're never going to believe where I am now.
All the time.
I'll just use a one namer and you're like, who?
What is the line? You're going to die. Is that what it is,
Carlos?
Die. Yeah. You're gonna and we're going to put that on a coffee mug.
You're
going to die.
That's another.
Speaking of coffee mugs, did you order the coffee mugs?
They've not been ordered yet.
Why didn't you order them the other day? Jason texted me and he's like, do you like this? Do you like this? And I'm like, yep, send it, ship it, let's do it. How did you not order them?
Because
there was a Black Friday deal.
I know, but it's still there. I got nervous about, we're also going to make a sign for back here for you all to look at.
It's going to be great.
And because that was part of that order. It doesn't have to be, but it was part of that order, and I just paused.
Okay.
Same thing for the curtains downstairs.
After we finish this episode, you're going to get on their computer.
It's ready to go.
All
I gotta do is click.
Move the sign out of the cart until we figure out the sign. Now the coffee mugs are going to be like Vocal Lab podcast.
Yeah, they're going to be
mugs.
They're going to be
great.
They're going to be cool and hot.
Yeah.
You're going to want one.
Yeah, you are.
And if you're on the podcast, we might even give you one.
That's right.
It's like I always thought it was so funny.
Do you think we should give one to Carlos?
Maybe for like his 10-year, anniversary present. Like, thanks for 10 years, Carlos.
I think he's probably logged 10 years worth of hours by this point.
Just in stress and turmoil of putting up with this.
Anyway, what were you saying?
No, it's like, I loved watching like Kelly Ripa's show. It was like, when I was little, it was Regis and Kathy Lee. Then it became Regis and Kelly.
Yes.
Then it was Kelly and everyone except me.
Kelly
she hasn't called me
Ryan.
yet. But yeah, now it's her and her husband, Mark.
Yeah.
But I always thought it was
Ryan's on Wheel of
funny.
Fortune.
I always thought it was funny because they play that spin the wheel game, the trivia.
Yeah, where they're giving away like a trip.
Yeah. Where you have to watch the show the day before.
Yeah.
And there's a trivia question based on one of the guests. And if you get it, you win the prize.
Mm-hmm.
But their consolation prize is always just a coffee mug.
That's
I'm like,
the consolation.
that's all you can give someone for being on the show is a coffee mug. With that kind of budget.
I know, right?
We're going to give it away with no budget.
No budget at all.
So,
you know what the budget is for this show? Our bank accounts.
Oh, yeah, there's a budget, but it's
show.
like, it drains our account every month.
But we're here doing this anyway.
We are, so you all should watch more.
And you know
Share
where
it
else
with
we're
your
going to
friends.
use our coffee mugs is on the YouTube reaction videos that we do.
Bingo. Segue. Done.
Because that's what we're talking about today.
We are. We're going to talk about the lovely world of reaction videos.
How did we get into this space? How did you get, because you were in it before me. How did you get into this space?
That's a great question. The head of YouTube called me up and said, Jason. No, I'm kidding.
If only.
If only. So, 2015, I think it was, I go do my first trip to Norway. I do a vocal workshop. Yeah, I do a vocal workshop for this client of mine at the time, a guy named Rolf Ringkjøb. And Rolf, I did not really know him. He'd come to LA for a couple sessions. But he's a cool guy. We were doing some Zooms too, or Skypes at the time. I didn't have Zoom then. He invites me to Norway to a studio to do a workshop for 14 people. That leads, which I thought we wouldn't do it again, because he lost a lot of money on that. But he was so energized by what I brought to the table that he's like, let's do it again next year, but bigger. Let's do a 2-day event. We'll get more people, and you should bring a songwriting producer buddy with you. And let's add some other like workshops.
What a response to losing money on an event to double down and make it twice as expensive the next time.
Totthat's Rolf's mindset. And so that became a really fun part of my life from like 2015. It was 14 or 15, I forget, up until COVID.
Yeah.
Where it became a once a year annual conference called Asker Music Expo. Asker is like, it's just Asker. It's a suburb outside of Oslo where the prince lives. And
did he also come to your event?
He never came.
Yeah.
But
did you get to have tea with him?
No.
Yeah.
But my friend Christiana's mother-in-law, she used to be his private secretary, but she just retired.
Oh, wow.
That's here and there. They're like, what are they talking about
now? You got to know the back. It's like an if you know, you know.
Yeah, right. Kind of so we would do a week-long conference in the fall, which was like basically Music Business 101. And we would bring writers, music business executives, label execs from America to Norway to work with Norwegians, find Norwegian talent, which also in the spring we started doing a songwriting camp for a week where we brought writers and publishers from the States to write with Norwegians. Mm-hmm. At the time, there wasn't a lot of collaborative space in Norway, and so now it's everywhere. So what we were doing, and this other school there, couple schools there were also in that space. So it's kind of fun to be at the forefront of the Norwegian, collaborative music explosion that we see now. And why am I talking about all this?
How you got into the reaction space.
Oh yeah, so through that, spending so much time in Norway, getting friendly with Norwegians, and that sounds interesting. And then just having a lot of friends. Rolf's son, Andre, when I first met him, he was young. He's still young, but he when he was 18, I think. So this was been around like 2018, 17, 18. He didn't know what he wanted to do. He was going to he graduated high school. He's like, what do I do? I don't really want to go to college. But he was he's very tech savvy, and he loved video games and creating like stuff on computers. And so he responded to an ad for a job that he saw posting online for a YouTube channel based out of the States, in LA, called Charisma on Command. And he was they hired him as their video editor. And so that led to him now kind of heading up the video, development of that channel. He manages other channels. He actually manages this channel. So like Carlos and I talked to him, not a whole lot, but Andre's, and the reason I'm saying all that build up to this, Rolf sat me down one time. This was, I guess, one of the trips there in late 2018. And he's like, I've been talking to Andre, and what he's doing with these guys on Charisma on Command. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you got to do this. Like, there's these reaction videos. That's basically what they do. They react to movies and speeches and stuff.
Gotcha. And
talk about ways to be charismatic, to have better communication skills, things like that. Highly popular channel. So Rolf was like, you should really talk to Andre. He wants to help you. You'd be great at this. So I did, and I was like, I don't know, because I didn't watch anything on YouTube. I still really don't watch a lot of YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of anything, though. It's just not my daily life.
Because you're a man of the town.
I'm a man of the town. So, so talked to Andre, and I guess we officially started doing some stuff in 2019. I was still living in LA. I had a couple friends out there who would come in and help film. I just sat at my piano in the living room and would watch a video and talk about it. And I never really got into it because I just felt like, I don't know what it was, but it didn't click at first. It wasn't fun for me just to sit there and talk about these videos.
Yeah.
I also didn't fully get right away the power of the platform.
Sure.
Right? I just right away didn't get it, even though people were responding and liking what we were doing a little bit. So that first year was really hit or miss. Then lockdown happens. I'm locked down in Kentucky. I'm making little trips to Nashville just to get out of, the farm and come into the city. And Carlos and I would meet at Barcelona and have some breads and maybe a little vino with it. We were hanging out. So we started talking about, I knew that I was going to transition back probably.
Yeah.
And so we started talking about the reaction channel space, Carlos helping film some stuff, doing more, being involved more. And that led to also Katie coming into the picture, because Katie had at that time hit me up and was like, hey, you want to do some stuff together? And what made the most sense, because Shelby and I, as was with Katie when she was here in these spaces, we're independent of each other in our businesses, but we come together and collaborate in things like the podcast, reaction videos,
right,
workshops here or there, but we don't technically work together,
right.
And people sometimes, they ask me that all the time. So that led to Katie and I starting in let's do some reactions together. And when that happened, having Katie and Carlos there, and we started drinking wine on the show, because at the time we were filming at night. Now, as you know, we film most time in the morning, and we're not going to booze it up at 10 a.m.
That'd be sad.
I mean, on a vacation it might, but yeah, it'd get real sad in normal life. So
it just popped off.
Yeah, well, it started to pop off, but it became really fun, and I think that's what made it pop off.
Because you had the other person there to play off of, and
and we were just having a great time hanging out, and you know that now because we do that.
Yeah.
So that's how the 34-minute answer to how I got into
that was long
reaction space.
Long.
But there was backstory there, right? It's like a memoir of my reaction.
One of these days, you are going to have an actual memoir.
I do have people asking me to do that.
Of course you do. Well, so what's interesting about the reaction space, I mean, there's a lot of things actually, but they've become their own genre. Reactions have become like a genre in video content, of creative content for content creators. And you can react to anything. You'll see people out there, creators out there, reacting to cat videos. Carlos knows this because he probably does this in his spare time. He reacts to cat videos, don't you, Carlos? Carlos loves cats, in case you're wondering. But anyway,
I peddle the content.
So you can literally find anything out there to react to, and there's an audience for everything in that space.
Does that make you a
mind-boggling?
Does that make Carlos a petophile?
Ew, no, I can't. I mean, wow, that was a great little joke.
I couldn't let that joke get away from me.
It was also like creepy. No, we'll give Carlos a hard time for all things, but we can't, not that. No. Anyway, okay, so you can find an audience for anything you want to react to, which is wild. And it speaks to our culture. I think it speaks to a lot of things. And that's kind of what we're going to unpack a little bit of. Why do we think that they're so popular, reaction videos in any space? And then also specifically in vocal coaches reacting to artists' performances? Yeah.
Well, I think one of the primary reasons they're so popular is just the reality that by nature, people there's a very human instinct. We are followers, not leaders.
Right.
And because of that, we are primarily voyeurs of things, right? We watch
so.
TV. And so it makes perfect sense that these little, quote unquote, little TV shows that are 5 to 10 minutes long, typically, of people reacting to other people's music or videos. It makes sense that people just want to watch that. And most people are going to be consumers or voyeurs of the content as opposed to make it. And I think social media has caused that to explode even more, right? Because we're constantly just scrolling and viewing things.
Yeah.
I saw recently, I said this the other day, don't quote me on this specific percentage, but it's like, I want to say it's like close to 90 percentile of people on social media just consume it. They don't actually create or post.
Yeah. I've heard the adage to people who are there to create, reminding them create before you consume, just to help one with your own creativity. Because a lot of times once you consume, it can fill your head with like comparison, and it drains your creativity to actually create. It's just that reminder for content creators. And you know what also I thought of for the first time when you were sharing that is, we love shows like The Voice, American Idol, America's Got Talent, all of those shows that are all about reactions, right? The judges. What is one of our favorite parts of those shows is listening to the judges'
reaction,
comment on it.
It's what made those shows popular.
During the people when they're singing, during the song, the camera cuts to the judge's face and you're watching them respond to it. And we're all like, what does the expert think? Right? Because we want to know, well, I think it's good. Do they think it's good? And we love to hate the Simon Cowells of those shows, but we also are like, oh, but they said this thing. But then have you noticed that like you don't really see the Simon Cowells anymore? And even Simon Cowell, isn't Simon Cowell anymore?
No, everyone's nice now.
He's nice.
Yeah, he's
like
nice
on, what is it, America's Got Talent
America's
that he's
Got
on?
Talent, yeah.
And in X Factor when he was doing that, like
judges
his
are just
personality is very
now.
different than it used to be on original American Idol days.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, right? Because we're all there to be like, do they think what I think? Am I right when I'm thinking that's really good? And then we're going to listen to the expert tell us.
Well, I think that's another big point to the popularity of reaction videos is that music's greatest force has always been the discoverability of the fan. So what I mean by that is like, before all this social media and the ease and the consistency, like nonstop daily of getting exposed to new music, again, whether it's a reaction video, TikTok, Instagram, Insta Reels, that all came from people going to little shows, primarily in high school and college. This new band, they started telling their friends. And so the discoverability of a fan thinking they found this artist, those are the same people that are commenting, and it's the reason they're commenting, by and large, most of them, on our videos on YouTube, is because they feel so connected to this artist that they know them.
Yes.
They help discover them.
Yeah.
And they helped fuel their fame.
And when we're doing these reactions on
that's a powerful bond.
Yeah, it is.
So when you and I say something like, and we've done this before, not often, but every once in a while be like, I didn't really like that. And whoa, do the comments come in hot.
Yeah, they come in.
It's like we just took a dagger to their artist that we've never met or been in the same room with.
Yeah, and we're intentional to be really respectful. But there was one, I remember a video that I watched that I was kind of like, I have to be really honest. I'm not super blown away by this. There's some vocal issues happening right here. And I have to be authentic to myself and not just be like, that was amazing, right? Because that's not the point of, is my desire more to gain more views or likes or audience members because I'm going to be like, that was incredible? Or am I going to be authentic and be like, actually, that could have been better and this is why? Because my point is to educate, right? And to make people better and to raise the bar. But what we have found to a large degree in the reaction space. Now we're reacting to things that are incredible, first of all. So every once in a while you get something, usually a suggestion from the audience that's like, react to this video. And then you watch it, you're like, well, are you sure you want me to react to this video? You know what I mean? But most of the time people are giving us pretty incredible suggestions. So our responses are very authentic when we're, and we're always trying to find the good too. Yeah. And talk about that because it's not a space for just back in the bus over people and like talking about how crappy stuff is. That's not the point of it. However, we have found and seen in that space of reactions that there's 1,000,001 videos of a coach, especially vocal coaches, that react to things that are either already like amazing, right? Or they're kind of bad. And the response from the coach is like, oh, you know, just fake praise for something because of likes. And they're trying to gain audience.
For sure. And I think also using the term coach has to be done lightly to the majority of people reacting on YouTube.
Yeah, that's true. Anybody can call themselves
anyone can call themselves a coach. But there are a few out there, us included, that operate at a very high level and work with really high level artists and names that people know. Yeah. And through that, there is a level of credibility that you and I can bring to that space, and we do. Yeah. But I think it's also cool that, and just so you know, people listening today know why. Like I didn't start this channel just to be popular and do what you're saying, get a lot of likes and views. Like I've never wanted that for any reason. Right. I do see the benefit of having a silver play button. Yeah. Right? There's like
this is a huge accomplishment for passing 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, that took a lot for the channel. That's a big deal. A lot of work. Yeah. Right? And a lot of hours and a lot of time and a lot of investment. That was not that plaque right there.
Cost a lot of dollars.
I can give you a number. I won't do it on this right now, but I know roughly what it cost to get that. Yeah.
And that's not buying likes.
No, it's not buying anything. That's just investing in production and time and not really, you know, we don't really make money on this channel. Like it's just
not yet. We do want to.
Yeah, no, for sure. Everything should be.
Money is a tool.
Money's a tool to do more.
To shine the light and help other people. And that's really the why.
That's the why. And the why was to help expand my ability to mentor and educate people on the art of singing and performance. Yeah. That's why I do this. Yeah. I can look at channels right now and tell you who's doing it for the money and who's doing it for the likes. You can too.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I can also see the coaches that are out there that just really want to help people.
Yes. And what's the difference? Because you can spot it. And what's the difference to you? I know what it is for me. When you can tell the difference between the fluff and the real stuff.
I don't know. I mean,
when you say I can spot it when people are just there for the likes.
I can just pick up the air of ego in their presentation. Yeah. By a lot of it. I can also pick up on the clickbaity words that they'll use. Yeah. Or not use.
On like the actual quality of the content.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Like, are you saying anything that actually helps people? Yeah. Or are you just saying something that's just feeding the ego of the audience? Yeah. Right. And so, you know, even Carlos was pointing out, since we were kind of chatting about this before we started filming, like there's actually creators out there coaches out there, not naming any names, okay, because that's not the point, but who have actually crafted and cultivated an audience that the agenda there is to get a bunch of people into the fold by just basically affirming what those people there came to make sure that was true about themselves. Like, am I right that this is good? And then when you can get that audience, then those people are going to follow you to the death.
Sure.
Because you're affirming what they think is true, whether or not it's true or not. But it's affirming that ego thing inside of all of us, right? Well, then there's content created that then is charged, right? Like, okay, I've made this course that's for you, that whatever, and then you get people to buy it, and it may not actually be beneficial. It may not actually really be helping people.
No.
But it creates this incredibly low bar of entry into the music industry or whatever, where everybody thinks, oh, I can be a star.
Yes.
I can be awesome because this coach, who's apparently like really smart, told me that if I just do XYZ, then I can get into this industry. When in reality, like, I do believe anybody can learn to sing, anybody. And anybody can get really, really good if they're willing to put in the effort. However, everybody's effort level is going to be different based on raw capacity and raw ability, and their God-given talent, what I think that they're actually here on this planet to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Not everybody is here on this planet to sing, right? In terms of like for the masses, I think everybody should sing. Like, I actually do. But that doesn't mean that everybody should be singing as a vocation for an audience. And that is up to somebody to determine and I'm not going to tell them what I think that they're here to do, but I am going to tell them the truth about what their voice is doing. I'm not going to just pump their tires in this like fake inflated way, but tell them the truth. My job, if I'm taking someone's money as a coach, I better be freaking honest with them about what is going on in their voice and what they need to do to grow, and what I think is potential for them and realistic, because people do want to know that. And I always say, look, I am not going to tell you what I think is possible for you in terms of like the big stage. Because I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong. You could double down. And I've seen people who were horrific singers, to be honest, really bad, put in wild amounts of effort and become really good. And I would have never expected that.
Well, totally. And I think we can go down the list of famous stars who were told no their entire career.
Is it Ed Sheeran?
And
who's got that famous clip on some talk show?
Maybe.
He's like, look, you want to know how bad I was? Watch this clip from when I was in high school or something like that.
Maybe.
And it's horrible. Huh. And then he's like, I practiced. That's how I became good. I think it's Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Well, so I can't tell somebody what I think is going to happen. However, I can tell them the truth about where they're at, give them a reality check, and what they need to do to grow.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that kind of
and encourage and coach them in stepping into their own path.
Absolutely.
Which is really the main point. And this is why talent prepares you to be ready for the moment. But I still believe no one can take that moment away from you other than yourself if it's your path. And so this is, especially in music, it's why you don't have to like be the greatest singer in the world to be the biggest star. Yeah. And by and large, they're not, especially in today's music space. So
that's true. You don't have to be a big star for music to be a part of your life.
You don't.
People think that if you're going to go into music, then the outcome has to be a record deal or lots of money or whatever. And there's a lot of different other applications that should equal success, because that's very, very unique to the individual.
Sure.
What success looks like for you musically.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is why in this space of reaction videos, I've always made it a principle of mine, and you agree with this too, being part of this space, to casually at times, sometimes intentionally, but always with this light-hearted overtone in this space of reaction videos, because we want it to be fun.
And, we want to entertain people.
It's entertaining too.
But add value.
But I've always wanted to add that value to bring in a bit of our expertise from the coaching, mentoring, and performance realm that we have as well. Right. To help people out there, because there are going to be a few people out there that'll pick up a little nugget, or they want to. By and large, most people we know watching reaction videos just want to be entertained,
Yeah.
And they want to hear someone else talk about their favorite artist.
Yeah.
They're also trying to discover new artists like we do as we watch these things. So
we've discovered so many new artists from
oh
this.
gosh, yeah. So
countless, especially international artists.
The phenom of reaction videos is really fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And it is at the same time a mirror of culture itself. From the whole point of groupthink to lowering the bar to entertaining ourselves to death. These are all overriding things in our culture that we're all trying to manage and at times fight and at times just give into.
Right.
You know? And that takes us back to one of the, the great principles that we're always working with is it really is balance. You know, and approaching this even in our perspective from being the coaches reacting to not, as you said, just always give people what they want.
Yeah.
For the sake of growing views and likes.
I find it unethical to do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I can't.
And as a parent of kids who are growing up in a culture of like screen addiction, I'm also not willing to add to the noise of online content that just encourages people to stay addicted to a screen.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to show up here, I'm going to add freaking value.
Yeah.
Right? It's just in how I am wired. So I'm not against content creation. I put content out there literally every day on the internet. But I make sure that if I'm entertained, and entertainment is a worthwhile cause. Like there's value in entertainment alone. However, we're so addicted to the zone out feature of entertainment that it's like, just make me laugh. Send me a funny cat meme or whatever. No offense to Carlos and the cats, okay? I laughed at a cat meme yesterday. I did.
Wow.
But if I'm going to...
That's how it starts.
Should have sent it to you. I'm going to have to go find it. But if I'm going to add anything to the noise of the internet, it needs to add some kind of value. And I do think that there is a time and a place for like, it's okay to just not have to always be growing, right? And just be entertained. There is a release in the brain of having space to like personally when I watch TV, which is almost never, okay, because I just don't. I used to as a kid.
I don't watch TV.
I was addicted to TV as a child. You ask my mom and dad. But now, who has the time? I barely ever watch TV. But when I do, it is almost exclusively comedy because I don't want to watch something heavy. The world is challenging and heavy and real life is hard. So make me laugh. Give me a comedic break from reality, right? So I get that there's something to be said for that. But I also am like, well, I'm going to still add value while I do it.
Totally. And I think that is at the crux why reaction videos have been so hugely popular is because there is an entertainment value connected to music.
Yeah.
That at times has these little doses of education to it, depending on whose channel you're watching. But to me, again, the most beautiful thing about it is it's been a platform to help, by and large, really fantastic singers have exposure.
Totally.
Especially from other places around the world. That is so cool to me, and that's why I love it. That's one of the coolest things
about this number right here, 100,000 subscribers, that we have the opportunity to showcase an artist from India to even an American audience. Of course, our audience is very international, but to showcase an artist that nobody else might have ever known about unless we featured them on a video and we're like, look how bomb this singer is. You should go listen to this person. Yeah. And that's a huge part of the purpose.
It's everything.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. I love it.
Helping other people shine their light more, right? And that honestly maybe should be the OG point of a reaction video is to be able not to be like, look how brilliant I am as a coach, or watch me just like nod my head for hopefully you'll follow me now and subscribe to me, but instead actually listen to this person that we're showcasing and become a fan of them. Yeah, because that person is hopefully there to encourage you with the gift of music. And so if we can open up people's eyes to new music that they would have never otherwise heard, that could maybe change their life. I mean, don't you know that there are songs that you have heard that have changed your life as a result of hearing him.
Yeah.
Because of like how it moved you or spoke to the season of life that you were in and made you cry. And you're like, oh my gosh, the way that lyric encapsulated how I feel or gave me a revelation about something because I heard it in the form of a song and creatively spoken in a song, like, can be very life-changing for people. And so to be able to...
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last night,
music.
Mariah Carey concert I went to, as you know.
You got to see Mariah.
It's her Christmas show.
Have you ever seen her live?
Never. It's her Christmas show. She did a little section of 4 of her hits. And when she started singing Hero, right?
So good.
The whole arena collectively in one sway singing every lyric.
Everyone.
And as I'm sitting there singing those lyrics, hugging my friend that I'm standing next to, Shadden, and we're just swaying and smiling at each other. And I have all these memories coming back of that song.
Oh yeah, that takes me to middle school.
And how that was such an impact of that time in life.
Yes.
That's what all this is about. And that is the power of music. Reaction videos are a beautiful platform and tool to continue to spread music, new artists, old artists alike, legendary artists that maybe people haven't heard that are younger listeners, and just connecting our world, our cultures. It's really, really fascinating and fun. I'm really thankful that we get to do that space together. I'm thankful for our 100,000 as we move and march on to 1 million. If you guys haven't checked out the Reaction Space, these podcasts are popped up on the Vocal Lab Collective YouTube channel, and which we have linked, and you can see all these crazy reaction videos up on that channel too, as well as some other little funny things probably in there. Some vocal tips, few. We don't put a lot of those, but
there's a lot there.
There's stuff there. So subscribe for sure, but also just join us there, watch some of these reactions, and give us your comments. Let us know who you'd like to react to. Also, let us know some topics that you'd like to hear on the podcast here. Yeah. Questions, comments, anything like that. We take it all. Yeah. This has been fun.
Absolutely.
Talking about reaction videos.
Yep. And our reaction audience is going to be excited that we did a podcast about the reactions. Yeah. Yes.
And just so everyone knows,
they're such a good audience. They really are.
No, that's actually the most fun is the audience getting to hear their comments
that come in are amazing.
And when we do lives, it's so fun when we do live reactions with a live audience because the comments just come flooding in.
They do.
And they love it.
They're so much fun.
It's so fun. So we drop our reactions on Mondays, every Monday morning. Yeah. Our podcast drops every Friday morning. So thank you guys for always chiming in and joining us along on this vocal journey that we have called the Vocal Lab Collective and the Vocal Lab Podcast.
Indeed.
Fun, Shelby.
I'd cheers you if I had a mug.
Oh, I thought you were going to fist bump.
But now we're going to we'll fist bump today.
Okay. Yeah, we got to get mugs.
As we close this today, you're going to go and order mugs. Go order the mugs.
Okay. Right. Love it.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to the Vocal Lab Podcast. Ready to join the top ranks of the music industry? Don't forget to follow and subscribe for more first-class conversations that make the extraordinary your new ordinary. Until next time, keep striving for your top note.